podcasting from Northwest Pennsylvania. You're listening to the Gen Extra Podcast, a show about Generation X, movies, technology, weird news, and anything else they feel like. Join them every Monday morning. Now, here's your host, Dave and Joe.
Again, huh? Again with the Wilhelm scream.
Throw it in there. It's fun.
It's son of a bitch.
Oh,
here we go.
Yeah. All right. Here. I don't know, what episode number is this? 20 something or other?
205.
205. Is that what it is? Or 206?
Unless you didn't roll the number over, but I have 205 on my sheet.
Okay. Yeah. Let me just look at it real fast.
Oh, you're in charge, boss man.
Not that it even really matters, but
no, it's over 200. You know.
Oh, dude, this is 207.
Oh well, we forgot to change the sheet. So,
yeah. Oopsie.
This is the kind of professionals you deal with here on the Gen Extra Podcast.
Yeah, man. Yeah, be happy we're putting something out every Monday. Keep track of our own stuff. Oh my gosh. All right. So, well, we were going to have our friend Steve on, but he is not feeling well. So hopefully maybe the next episode we can get him on.
Yeah, we're hoping he feels better soon.
Yeah, we don't want Sick Steve on the show.
No one needs Sick Steve.
No.
Steve doesn't want Sick Steve right now.
No, probably not.
He wants to be happy and healthy and not on fire as he does live in California.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping to get some insight, from a Californian, but not today. Yeah. So, all right. What are we doing this show? Let's take a look at our board here. We have, of course, we'll dive into a couple of national days, see what's going on there. And I want to talk about the show Silo.
Yeah.
I have just something I noticed and I want to talk about it. What do we have here? Top and bottom, or we're just doing the worst movies of 2024, was it?
Yeah, we don't do the worst, because they're more fun to talk about. Yeah. Everyone kind of knows their best movies.
Yeah.
We talk about good movies quite often.
We do.
I want to talk about the bad ones.
Yeah, let's talk about the turds from last year.
Yes.
And then we got a few more things here that you threw on here. What is this here? Something about Peter Pan? What is this?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
That's all we're gonna give him? Just a little tease about Peter Pan?
Just a little bit about Peter Pan. Okay. That's all we're gonna do. Yep.
Like, what does that even mean? All right. And apparently you put this on here, and I definitely thought this would be really interesting. PlayStation is doing something new in the future with their games.
That's what they say. They're going to do some new technology here. We talked a little bit about technology last week on the Consumer Electronics Show, so we're gonna
look at us talking tech,
talking tech
with Dave and Breeze. All right, so what do we got for national days, man? Let's dive into those.
All right, we'll dive into national days. Not as many exciting things in here. National Bootleggers Day coming up on, it's today, Friday, January 17th, the day we're recording this.
What's the term bootleggers cover? Is it more like alcohol?
It is bootleg, is alcohol, bootlegged alcohol. Yeah, I mean, you could bootleg anything, right? Like you could, bootleg movies, right? Yeah. But this is specifically for the alcohol, right? For Prohibition era, bootlegging, running booze, which, gave us NASCAR. So,
wait,
you wonder why there's an official alcoholic beverage of race car driving. That's probably why it's thematically on brand.
Really? Wait, so bootlegging booze had something to do with NASCAR? How'd that happen?
Yes. Yeah. So bootleg running, people of the era would basically soup up your cars to run the booze, right? You had to run it at night, usually no headlights.
Outrun the cops.
Yeah. Okay. So it was booze running. And then those same folks, when Prohibition ended, had these souped up cars, and they had gotten really kind of into like competing, right? For let's see how fast I can get the delivery from A to B. And it evolved into the NASCAR we know today, stock car racing.
No kidding.
Where, honest truth.
Well, ain't that some shit? I did not know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You learn something new every day on the Gen Extra Podcast.
Exactly, especially here. We learn a lot new here.
Yeah. Did you ever see how people make moonshine?
I have not. I have consumed Everclear, which I guess you would call probably like commercial grade moonshine back in the day, as grain alcohol to, what is it, 190 proof or something absurd like that. It's 95% alcohol.
Yeah,
but no, really I know nothing about like moonshine. Tell me about it. What's it? What's in it?
I've never done it. Like I kind of understand like how it's done, but what I wanted to say was like when people they make their corn mash or whatever they use for their mash, and then have it ferment, and then they start to boil it off. I think that's how they do it. But
your guess is as good as mine.
So they put this big like copper coil, and they cool it down, and then the steam that comes off of it drips into a bucket, and that's your moonshine.
Okay.
But I guess that first bucket or first quart or whatever it is, half gallon maybe, is like pure ethanol.
Oh,
and you have to just dump it because it can kill you if you drink it.
That sounds unpleasant.
I was wondering like how many poor bastards like drank, like how many did it take?
How many did it take to figure out that it was poisonous?
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel terrible, but at least a few people, like the first time they did it, they're like, what the hell happened? Like Bob's dead.
You could probably smell it though. Like, I mean, it's a liquid, right? You wouldn't have to like, you're not just going to chug the damn thing. Like
someone drank it. You know, they did.
Someone consumed some of it. I would assume. I would be shocked if they like just said, okay, down the hatch. And then, went all in on it. Like just, did an entire fifth of moonshine. I suspect that they sampled it and were like, oh, this smells off or bad, or there's human safeties, right? Like human beings have some safeties in there where they're like, this isn't good.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just suspected somebody, at least multiple people, lost their lives trying this.
It's very possible. It is very possible.
Now, a friend of mine I used to work with, he used to go down to Virginia or West Virginia, and like once or twice a year to buy moonshine. And he would ask, a few of the guys around the shop, like, hey, that he knew wanted it or would want it. And it was $100 for a gallon. So, we'd throw in whatever, $100, and he'd come back with like pure moonshine. And it was actually really good. It's different than Everclear, especially if you like to make like those like apple pie, the apple pie moonshine. It's definitely different with real moonshine. It tastes different. It's good.
Oh, I'm sure it does. I mean, Everclear was mainly used as a cleaning solvent. So
they just bottled it and started selling it to people to drink. That's great.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome. All right. So what else is on the list here?
The other one that I found kind of interesting was National Pie Day is Thursday, January 23rd. And I actually kind of had a problem with this.
Uh-oh.
Because
Wait, is it
to
pie
me,
like P-I or P-I-E?
This is P-I-E.
Okay.
But you went there, right, with the pie. Like, I've always observed March 12th as
3.14, yeah.
Or 3.14, sorry, and not 3.12, 314. Like, so it kind of bothers me that National Eating Pie Day is not just on March 14th.
You think they should just coexist with each other?
I think they should coexist. I don't think there should be two separate, because you got to go with the nerdy one, but that's because I'm a nerd. So
yeah,
that's this. However, the recommendation for this particular day of the year, a lot of the site I looked using says, how do you celebrate Pie Day?
Eat pie.
Play pie. Well, yeah, eat pie would be the obvious one. This one is play pie themed music.
Stupid.
As Bye Bye Miss American Pie, Wild Honey Pie, and Custard Pie. I've never heard any of these things. Wild Honey Pie is apparently by the Beatles. I'm not a huge Beatle fan. I don't know that particular title. Miss American Pie is about the only one that I know of with pie in it. These other 5 things, I have no clue what the hell they're talking about.
They should rework that NSYNC song and call it Pie Pie Pie.
Pie Pie Pie. Ooh, I like that one.
That'd be a fun song. Pie Pie Pie.
Let's That's fantastic.
No. Yeah. Plus, pie is round. It can coexist with pie and pie.
Yep.
I agree.
There's no excuse at all.
No. Any other good ones on there?
No, honestly, this is a very slow week for national and international days. Nothing really notable coming up. Nothing fun.
Yeah, it's cold out. There's not much happening.
Yeah, really. Yeah, January is a lousy month anyway.
Yeah. All right, so I said I want to talk about Silo.
I've been kind of waiting to hear what exactly. Silo has been recommended to me by so many people, by you, by like 3 of my coworkers. It's definitely something I'm going to turn on this weekend and at least preview it, see if it's something that my wife is going to want to watch, or if I'm just going to do it solo.
Yeah, it just got renewed for a 3rd and 4th season.
Oh wow! Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah. So if you're unfamiliar with the show Silo, it's a hit show on Apple TV Plus. And which, by the way, like I always have to encourage people, if you don't have it, just get it. It's like, what's up to $10 a month now, but it's a great platform for like really unique shows. And they even have like, Apple TV Plus movies. But anyway, it's really good. And it's definitely worth the plethora of shows that are on there now. Originally it was like $5 a month and they only had maybe a dozen shows. But anyway, so Silo, it's based in the future. Everybody lives in these gigantic underground silos, and the outside environment, the outside air is toxic. So anybody that does go outside for some reason or another usually doesn't make it. So it's based 400 years in the future from what I'm guessing by their like computer tech in the silo. I'm guessing about the mid 90s. So it's like probably 24 or 2390 or something, whatever it is. Yeah. So it's definitely ahead, like in the future time. So anyway, in the show, there's 10,000 people that live in the silo. I don't think I'm spoiling much, but there are other silos you find out. Sorry if I don't think it's going to ruin anything, but there's more.
It would make for a very interesting show if it were all about one silo.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So anyway, but what I want to get at is, and if my wife's listening to this episode, she's just going to fast forward to this part because
you've driven her nuts with it already.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
well, as your podcast wife, I need to hear about it.
we were watching the show, and I paused it at this one particular scene, and I'm like, wait a minute. She's like, what? I was like, he just walked over to the coffee pot, dude. Like this guy poured himself a cup of coffee, put the pot back in the thing, and just had to sit, put down a desk, just kept going about his business. I'm like, how do they still have coffee? Like it's 400 years later and they still have coffee. So
it just bothers you.
Well, dude, trust me, I dove into this pretty hard. So I started thinking about it. I'm going to have you kind of help me and assist me through this with some logical thinking. So again, 10,000 people live in the silo. Bear with me. I am sorry if this is not interesting, but I could not let it go and I had to figure it out.
I'm already kind of losing my mind on this one.
All right. So 10,000 people. How many people, Breeze, do you think in the silo? Just a percentage. How many people do you think drink coffee on a daily basis?
Just a lot.
Okay.
A lot. I would say, so I would say probably, let's say 60 to 70% of the population probably drinks coffee.
Oh, I want to be more conservative than that.
40%.
40, let's go 40%. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So that's 4,000 people on a daily basis drinking coffee. All right. So we're just going to work through this.
Yep.
So one container of like Folgers coffee. Now there was an argument posted by my wife and she goes, how do you know they just don't grow it? And first of all, I don't believe that they're going to give up valuable crop space in their limited crop space to grow coffee.
I'm going to agree with you on that one.
Thank you.
I'm going to, yeah, that one I'll go with you on.
That's even if they could grow it. Like the other point I made too was I'm like, coffee grows in a very specific spot, like along the equator.
And climate. Like, yeah. Do they have like, I gotta ask a little bit of the world building here. Do they have like crop growing facilities in these silos? Are they okay? So they have like hydroponic, like indoor growing.
Yeah, they can and do grow food, which that's a whole nother topic because I don't know if they even have enough. Like, I don't know if they have enough crop space to feed 10,000 people. But anyway, so we're going to throw away the fact that they can even grow beans because, like I said, if we could grow beans outside of the bean belt, like we would now. They just don't because they just don't grow that well anywhere else. So anyway, so they definitely had to have like cans of Folgers or Maxwell House or something. So I thought I'm like, all right, so how we're going to break into an even number here. So like per 10 people out of those 4,000, how long would one can of Folgers or Maxwell House coffee supply 10 people for? Just what's your guess?
If they're drinking coffee on a daily basis?
Yeah. Which it seems like they do on the show.
Like a can of like a can of like grocery store coffee? I don't know, like a week.
Let's go even more conservative.
Okay.
Let's say because they know they live in a silo.
Okay.
They're going to make
a month.
Okay, we'll go with a month. They're going to make a slightly lighter brew. All right.
Okay.
They're not going to go with like a triple scoop, some real dark.
I'm just thinking, Folgers in your cup, baby. Is like, this is going to be, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So that takes it down to 400 times. So that's that's 400 cans of coffee every month. All right.
Okay.
For those, what would we call it? 6,000 people.
Yeah.
Times a year. That's 4,800 cans of coffee a year to supply the silo for all the coffee drinkers.
Wow. All right.
They've been in the silo for 400 years. We're also going to disregard the fact that the coffee is 400 years old.
Is it though? Is it? Did he scoop a cup of Folgers, or did he just like pour a cup of coffee?
He poured a cup of coffee. What else are they making coffee out of? Whatever it is, it's 400 years old.
I mean, they make, well, is it though? Like, I guess, unless they're growing it. Like, you're right. I guess if we're assuming they're not growing it, then yeah, it's 400-year-old coffee. It's not going to do anything anyway.
Yeah. So it's
going to have broken down chemically.
Yeah. It's just, you're going to open up and it's going to be mushy and moldy and disgusting. But we're just going to pretend that it's not. It's that vacuum seal. They pop that sucker open, and they smell it, and they're like, Folgers in your cup. All right, so 4,800 for a year times 400, that puts us at a whopping 1,920,000 containers of coffee they have gone through since the silo was built. How and why did they decide to
Are you sure it was coffee? Are you sure it wasn't like
it's coffee?
Like
it's in a coffee pot.
Oh, it was in a coffee pot.
I'm pretty sure they even said coffee.
Now I'm going to watch the show just to see if they actually. I need to see this. I really need to behold this now. You've made such a deal out of it. I've got to see it.
So I went a step further.
Oh God.
And I was, this is actually about double what I estimated, maybe even a smidge more. So I was like really conservative and low on my first estimation. So I'm just going off of what you put down or what you gave me with your thoughts. So almost 2 million containers of coffee. Let's just say they're almost at the end. All right. They're not acting like it, but anyway. So if you took a can of Folgers, all right, in what I called a storage room, call it 40 by 40. It's a big storage room. All right. Cause they got to store the stuff somewhere in that silo. They fill it. They stack can on top of can. They fill this room, pack it full. So I looked up the dimensions of a can of Folgers and I did the math. They can fit, I think it was like 3,800 cans. 3,800 cans per row. And on these calculations here, Breeze, on a 40 by 40 room, the stack of coffee would be taller than the Eiffel Tower.
That's a lot of coffee.
That's a lot of coffee. So I hope this, I needed to know. I had to visualize and see how much coffee they stored.
An Eiffel Tower worth of coffee. I think that's your answer right there.
Like massive, dude. Massive.
I will take one Eiffel Tower worth of Folgers, please. Thank you very much.
So, but my last thoughts on this, and then we can move on. When they were building this place and they were working out their like list of supplies and stuff to have 10,000 people survive there indefinitely, how did coffee make it that high on the priority list to put 2 million containers of coffee? Like, you don't think someone was like, should we, like, how much coffee should we put in here? Is like coffee. Like, no, we need food. We need medicine. We need clothes. We need like everything to survive and live. And they're like, well, we got some coffee. Like, wow, what, like 10,000 containers? Like that lasts, a couple years maybe.
I mean, I do agree. I think it definitely qualifies on the non-essentials list.
Yeah, but somewhere they landed around 2 million containers times, Breeze, there is 51 silos. That means if they were spreading the wealth across every silo with coffee, that means they had to have 97 million containers of coffee to stock all those silos.
Well, congratulations, Dave. You've just completely... Oh my gosh, man. You've done a lot of research. This is probably the most passionate I've ever seen you or heard you about a topic on the show. I'm only half kidding. Like, this is really a thing for you. This is really funny.
Yeah. Well, I dove into other aspects, which I will not get into, but that one stuck out to me.
We're going to have to do the full hour on coffee.
I could just talk about the logistics of this place for an hour. I really could.
God, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, I agree though. Coffee's probably shouldn't be top of the concern for a post-apocalypse. I think there's no question there.
No, they should not have freaking coffee. Anyway, that was my complaint about the show. That's my only complaint. If you actually haven't watched it, I would definitely recommend it. It is a really fascinating show. It's really good. They just finished up season 2. Or maybe it's not quite over yet. I think there's 1 or 2 more episodes that come out. But anyway, yeah, season 2 is almost done. And like I said, just renewed it for 3 and 4. So it's a great show. Check it out.
Nice.
All right.
Well, I will eventually.
So your turn, Breeze. What did you find on the bottom of the pile of movies from last year?
Oh, the bottom of the pile. Yeah, we talk about the best of things a lot. We want to talk about the worst of things, right? So we have different sets of worst, right? So there's Rotten Tomatoes, which tends to be a classic system, right? Because it is kind of a meta aggregation of reviews. So I figured we just go through and just talk about, the top 10. We'll burn through some of these things because I haven't heard of them. But some of them are surprising, some of them are not at all surprising.
Top 10 what? Top 10 worst?
Top 10 worst.
Okay, all right.
Worst. According to Rotten Tomatoes, we have a movie called Argyle, which I had not even heard of. This is let's see here.
I have heard of Argyle.
Okay, so this stars, let's see, Henry Cavill, Catherine O'Hara, Bryce Dallas Howard, John Cena, Samuel L. Jackson, Sam Rockwell. Holy crap. What do they do to these poor people?
This is like a spy mystery type.
Oh, okay. So, this is the guy who did Kingsman.
Yeah. I feel like,
which I like.
I feel like my wife and I watched this. Maybe we did. I don't know. But it got pretty bad reviews.
It has a Rotten Tomato score of 33%.
That's not good, huh?
Not very good. Not very. Moving on is this one I'd heard of. I had no desire to see. I didn't even see the first one, which is the sequel to Joker, the Joker Folie à Deux.
Who's he? What that way? It's actually called that.
Yeah, the full title is Joker Folie à Deux. The folly of two. The mistakes of two is the translation basically. There's one with Harley Quinn in it. Played by Lady Gaga, opposite Joaquin Phoenix. This did not do well. I know the first one got a lot of reviews and was really good. I never saw it. Did you see the original Joker?
No. I couldn't. I haven't watched any. I haven't watched any Batman story related movies in I don't know how long. They just don't interest me.
Batman adjacent films.
Yeah.
So you didn't see the one with Robert Pattinson? The Batman.
I started to. I think we talked about this a while ago. My wife and I started to watch it, and as soon as the Batman he was trying to find the Penguin.
Yeah.
And when he was really upset and he was like interrogating somebody, and he's like, "Where's the Penguin?"
Oh, as soon as the Batman voice kicked in, you're like, "That's it, I'm out."
Not even the voice, just that he could say with a straight face, "Where's the Penguin?" I'm done. I just shut it off.
So coming in at number 8 with a 28% Rotten Tomato score is Harold and the Purple Crayon.
This kids movie?
Yeah, it's based on the book. Are you familiar with the book?
No, I don't think
this
so.
This is one of my favorite books growing up. It's very artistically styled, and so, like simple art style, right? It's just that this kid and his purple crayon, and he goes on this like bedtime adventure with his own imagination.
Wonder where where'd they go wrong?
Everywhere. They made the movie of it. I can't see. This is one of those things where it's like, do you remember way back when they made the movie Battleship? You know, when they were like opting all the toys in the game franchises and they made a movie about Battleship, it's like, really? You're just gonna... They were teasing a Viewmaster movie early last year, and I'm like, what are you people on? Like, some stories are not meant to be adapted in there. You're just cashing in on a title. This apparently did not do it justice. It was a baffling mix of live action and animation, says the review. Instead of keeping the whimsical innocence that comes from a child and adventures they can imagine, the movie reimagines Harold as an adult man, played by Zachary Levi, who I actually kind of like.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He's a good actor. Yeah, Shazam.
Who uses the crayon to escape into the real world. And yeah, gets dull and confusing. Very, very bad. The other one was Pool Man. This was one with Chris Pine. It's his directorial debut. It was a neo-noir comedy set in LA. Really kind of channeled... It says a lot of the criticisms here say it tried to kind of knock off Big Lebowski in terms of its tone, but it's really... It's not good. It's not good. That got a 24% on Rotten Tomatoes. And number 6, coming in at 22%, so we're climbing up the list, is your favorite from 2024, The Crow.
Oh, yeah. What a rough remake.
Yes, which, you know, for our listeners, go back. Well, I forget what episode number it was. Search the descriptions. We do talk about The Crow. You get a detailed review from Dave on
I don't want
how and why it was terrible. Nope, not going to go through it again.
Nope.
Reagan, the biopic Reagan, which comes in at number 5 with only 18%. So this is a biopic starring Dennis Quaid as Ronald Reagan. I don't know. It says even his efforts couldn't save the one-dimensional script or biased direction. Yeah, apparently it was, I don't know, who knows how that it could have gone either way, right? It was either going to be touted as amazing or god awful. That wasn't going to be a middle of the road kind of movie. Number 4 at 16% Rotten Tomato score is called Uglies. It's a Netflix movie.
Oh yeah, that's who was in that?
I recognize none of these names.
No, one of the characters I remember seeing him in another show, but no, it was. I started watching. I got about 3/4 of the way through it. When uglies refer to like normies, like normal people who aren't like attractive.
Well, then why did they hire some of these folks? Because I'm looking at the posters and everything, and they look pretty attractive. Like,
well, that's like post up. So once you turn, I think it's like 16 or 17. You're then eligible to go into this operation to make you, not ugly.
Oh.
And so all the people that have had this surgery done, they all live in like a different part of town, and they refer to the regular people as uglies. Oh, it was kind of messed up. Like, it started losing me after a bit, but the concept was kind of interesting.
So you've seen this then?
Like 75% of it. I couldn't finish it.
Okay, well, then apparently neither could anyone else.
It's like they had the idea down. They started making this movie, and it just kind of fell apart. Like, for me, that like I don't think they knew where they were going with it. They started making shit up. I'm like, what are they doing? Like, this makes no sense. Yeah, no, that's enough.
That's enough of that.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one is Rebel Moon Part 2. Had never heard of it at all. Have you?
The Rebel Moons they're on Netflix, and like the first one got a lot of hype. And I remember when they were teasing this show, it was like this like really cool, like super slow-mo, like bullet scene. I thought it was part of like the Star Wars universe, I thought.
So it says portrayed as Zack Snyder's poor version of a Star Wars epic.
Okay.
Is it a Star Wars film? I wouldn't. It's on Netflix. It wouldn't be on Disney if it were official Star Wars. This looks like basically... Oh, it's rival. Yeah, it's like a saga meant to rival Star Wars.
All right.
Rebel Moon sequel cannot hold a candle, which is pretty bad considering the canon Star Wars stuff they're coming out with is pretty much a wet dishcloth as well, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Number 2 is one of our wonderful DC comic failures, Madam Web. I had not seen it all, but I just keep hearing about it in the context of it was god awful.
I did watch that entire movie.
Okay. And
it wasn't great. It did have potential to be something good. It fell apart for me with the main villain. I hated the villain, which, it's like, I know you're supposed to not like the villain. I didn't hate him because he was like a horrible like person. I despised the character they made. Like, it was so bad. And then the end got weird too when they like, oh god, they're weird powers and stuff. And I was like, this is stupid.
Well, this, and then, it's not on the list, but I think it probably should be, was Kraven the Hunter, which came out and was another Spider-Man tangential. It's because it's another Marvel property, not DC. I said DC earlier. Apologies, listeners. Sony is the company behind it. So it's Sony's Marvel universe that they still have licenses to.
Okay.
But they don't use Spider-Man anymore because that's not theirs anymore. So they make like Madam Web and Kraven. Those are all Spider-Man villains, Spider-Man adjacent properties. But they can't mention Spider-Man. So it's like literally grasping at straws on this one where they just can't pull it together.
Huh.
It's kind of lousy. But by some accounts, Kraven is even worse than Madam Web. And up until Kraven had come out, like I was pretty much sure that Madam Web was going to be up at the top of the worst, but it is not at the top. And this comes as absolutely zero surprise. Even when I saw the trailer, coming in at only 10% on a Rotten Tomatoes score is Borderlands.
I never saw it. I heard it was.
I have no
garbage.
intention of seeing it. This thing looks. I remember seeing the trailer for it before, and I forget what we were going to see. I think we were going to see the Ryan Reynolds thing with the imaginary friends, and they were trailing Borderlands in front of it. First of all, weird pick. Oh, hi, Mark. Second of all, this is another one where the cast list is actually really impressive, and then you just completely destroyed it. So Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Ariana Greenblatt, whom I'm not familiar with, but I guess has notoriety, Jamie Lee freaking Curtis. It's like doing a Borderlands movie, which is a video game adaptation, and it looked awful from the trailer. And it had a PG-13 rating. Borderlands, for those who don't know, is a hyper-violent, very crass, very irreverent looter shooter video game, first-person shooter. Like, it's bloody, it's gory, it's crass. It has no business in a PG-13 setting. If you're going to do a movie like this, you really should have done an R rating and then actually done something with the script. But they literally made a movie based around weapons. The game is based around weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's very bloodless, which you don't need a lot of gore in a movie, but if you got people getting shot up left and right and you've literally CGI'd, or I guess you don't CGI the blood out, you just simply don't put it in. But they just, I guess the script was awful. I still don't know how they got Jamie Lee Curtis and Cate Blanchett in here. Like, I kind of get Kevin Hart and Jack Black, but
can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you go to some user submitted reviews? I want to hear.
Yeah, sure.
For the worst movie of the year.
All right, see here. Go to reviews. Storyline? User reviews. Whoever let this get rewritten and reshot into PG-13 hell should be kicking themselves. It needed to be as deranged as the video games. What happened? This could have been awesome, but instead we got Jumanji without The Rock. Side quote, The Rock would have made this worse, to be honest. I'm going to pull some really bad reviews out of here if I can. Sort by review rating. Can we do the worst? There we go.
Yeah, I want to hear the really upset people.
Yeah. Horrible directing and cast and worst music ever. This is one of those films, could have been fantastic, but wow, it was terrible in all aspects from the start. Wrong director, terrible visions for everything except for maybe Jack Black as the voice of, I forget what he voices now. It doesn't say. He voice acts, I'm forgetting the character name. Doesn't matter. Little robot. Eli Roth, a good director, but not in the action genre. And not for lack of effort, but they don't work. They're out of pace. The music doesn't flow. The bad guys work well in Mad Max, but here they look like a cheesy horror film and they're laughably bad. Claptrap, that's the character name. Yeah. I think they lost 80% of their budget.
Oof.
They had $110 million budget. I think they lost over close to $90 million.
Wow.
On the movie. Yeah. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know what I think happened was when what's the show that we really liked? It was on Amazon, based on a video game. Fallout, yeah.
Fallout. Yeah.
So they made Fallout into a 10 episode series.
Mm-hmm.
That show was in my opinion, and yours too. I've heard your opinion on this.
Oh yeah.
It was like one of the best video game to movie, what do they call it? Adaptations.
Adaptations. Yeah.
It was so good. And I didn't even barely play the video game. I knew what it was. I think I played a total of maybe an hour of Fallout ever. So I didn't even I didn't need to know anything about this world. They did such a good job on just making it like digestible and not like you need to like oh, you have to have a deep understanding of this. Like it was so good and it sucked me in. And even my wife, who never played it in her life, she like we were like itching to get to that next episode. Like we were both really into it, and they hit the nail right on the head on that show on Fallout. And I think that like other companies and stuff were like seeing opportunity to maybe make something like that for themselves. It would be a big hit, and somehow I mean I think Borderlands, I never saw it, but it could have been really cool.
It probably could have been really cool
if they gave it like a hard R and just went for it, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why, you know, I respect movies that just know what they are. The Mad Max movies are very good. I actually never played a Fallout game either. I know of it, like I know what Fallout is, but I never played it, even as a gamer. And I love that show. I think that show absolutely phenomenal. And I missed nothing. I'm sure there's tons of little nuggets and Easter eggs and embellishments, right? If you've played the games, you're probably identifying things. You're probably picking things out of there and being like, oh, that's awesome. Or, oh, they did a great job rendering that in a live action setting.
Yeah.
Even without that's one of the best shows, one of the best series I've watched.
Almost makes you wonder, like, if we were like big into that game, we're like huge like Fallout fans, played them all, and then we watched the show, we may have actually been disappointed.
Oh, Joe played the Fallout games though.
He really liked the show too.
He liked the show, so I don't know that it would have been that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there you have it. The worst of the worst for the year.
That is it. They suck it up, Buttercup, because the year is over, and now on to the terrible movies of 2025. Speaking of which, Peter Pan.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So a movie coming out in the Pooniverse, which I just love saying out loud.
Yes.
Yes. So for those who aren't familiar, the Pooniverse refers to not what you're thinking. It is the Winnie the Pooh went into public domain, what was it, a year ago, 2 years ago? And they had Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and then they had a sequel, if I remember correctly.
They did. Yep.
Which you may have seen one or both. I know you saw the first
both,
one.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to look to you for your insights there. Well, this one takes place, and it's all about Peter Pan. So it's called Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. It's a thriller, inspiration for the Tinkerbell and Peter Pan dynamic. Headline reads, Tinkerbell's drug addict reimagining revealed in Peter Pan's horror film. The director teases a very effed up backstory. So they are going to make this an intense horror thriller about Peter Pan and Tinkerbell.
You know I'm going to watch it.
I actually, you know what, of all the ones, this seems like more of like a psychological thriller than a slasher horror film. So even I might watch this one.
Yeah. The Mickey Mouse one was really bad.
Yeah, that was on some of the worst lists too that I had seen come across. But I wanted to stick with Rotten Tomatoes since that has good aggregate scores. But there's a couple of lists I was looking at for research for this episode where the Mickey Mouse one came up as like top 3 bad. I feel like it's a little bit contrived to knock a slasher B-movie horror flick as like worst of the year.
It is.
I mean, they're all bad. They're always bad.
Yeah, they're all bad. They're working with very, very low budgets.
Yeah, so I don't think it's fair. I think you need to take the piss out of things that are spending $116 million. I think that's what you criticize.
Yeah, that deserves some scrutiny.
It does, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not the $10,000 budget short movie that with like actors who've never acted before. So yeah, they don't deserve to be bashed.
No. Cut him a break. I still keep thinking about the Popeye thing, and I'm just waiting for the Popeye franchise to come out. We talked about it on the last episode.
Oh yeah, what did we? Oh, Popeye
well, I said Popeye the Slayer, man, and you're like, no, just Popeye the Slayer. So we're gonna see.
The more I think about it, I think you might be right. I think it's gonna be Slayer Man.
Oh, too funny.
Yeah, dude. That. Do you remember Popeye? Like we talked about it briefly last time, but like with Brutus and olive oil.
Yeah, only like I didn't watch it a ton. Like I didn't watch it a ton as a kid.
Like I saw a clip not too long ago where Brutus was trying to take olive oil from Popeye. He was always trying to take her.
Well, he was always, that was an always thing.
I don't remember like when I was growing up. You watch things differently as a kid than you do as an adult. And when I saw this clip from Popeye, I was like, dang, man, like Brutus was aggressive. You know, he was borderline. I mean, like, you know, like
what? Yeah. Inappropriate.
Yeah. Like he was a horrible person. And they just, and they just fed these scenarios to kids.
Generally, I mean, generally it was that. It was really weird. Now, the one there was a Robin Williams one, right? Where Robin Williams was in the Popeye live action adaptation with Shelley Duvall way back when. Yeah, there was a film version of that.
Was Popeye?
Probably not kids.
Were his intentions the same as the cartoon?
I've never seen the live action one. I've never seen it. My wife has. I'll have to ask her what she remembers of that particular gem.
Yeah. Would he be sent to jail for 30 to 40 years?
Probably. Yeah. He'd definitely be canceled if nothing else. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah. Brutus.
Right?
Yeah. So, all right. Speaking of video games, what are they doing with PlayStation?
Headline coming in. PlayStation is adding smells to its games with cutting edge tech. Let's let that sink in for a second.
Where do the smells come from? Like out of the controller? Maybe?
Here we're gonna go. Okay. Sony revealed a new gaming concept that could let PlayStation players smell their way through titles like Last of Us. I don't know why specifically they call that out. I don't particularly think The Last of Us would smell very nice considering it's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, it probably stinks.
Yeah. So your quote, the future immersive entertainment concept, aims to explore the possibilities of introducing smell into video games, as well as being able to smell the world. Here we go. 4D experiences. Yeah. So you set up additional gear and it is tied in, and apparently it generates, it's almost like looks like they're conceiving it to be like, what are those little humidifiers, like the little essential oil diffusers?
Yeah.
Whatever they are, like electronic. Looks like it's that. Thinking about adding pizza scented things, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles properties. Yeah. Very, very weird. And they're also thinking about putting it in the movies as well with Sony. So they're going to be looking to add engaging audio, haptics, scent, and atmospherics to fully immerse you in the world of the story.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's a crock of shit.
I don't want that at all.
No, I don't think anyone does.
I want to sit there with my tub of popcorn.
Headline grabbing. Yep. Headline grabbing BS. That's all this is. In my opinion, this will never see the light of day.
No, but
it's funny to talk about.
I mean, I guess maybe in certain things, I mean, it's just there's certain rides and stuff, I think, at Disney that kind of incorporate some of this. And it's too much. For one, I don't want to be jostled around. I don't want that. I don't need my seat moving. And, because what if I'm sitting there, I got my drink in my hand, all of a sudden it starts flinging me about a little bit. I don't be wearing, cherry Coke all over me.
That's true. That would suck.
Yeah. And then the smells and the wind and I can't imagine they do water because that would just get annoying, to clean up.
Yeah, water and electronics tend not to work very well.
Yeah, but no, I don't need the smells.
It does seem super absurd. No question.
Remember the scene in Star Wars when they get thrown in that trash compactor?
Yes. Oh, that's a good analogy there. Yeah. Oh my God.
Where they're pumping out garbage stink into the theater.
Oh. Well, it's a good thing Disney isn't getting on this one yet. Right. That would be awful.
Yeah, that'd be horrible. Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah. So there you go, man. That's the wave of the future. Stinky movies, stinky video games.
Yeah. No thanks.
I'll pass.
Yeah. So I got one more story here that I found.
Alrighty.
And then we'll probably wrap this one up after this. But no, this was let me pull up the site here. This one on thehuffpost.com. The headline says, ho ho, oh no, man sought by police gets stuck in chimney.
Oops.
Yeah, so the Massachusetts, Massachusetts.
Who was this?
Thank you. Man, he was trying to escape from police, and he shimmied down the chimney and got stuck. The man, he fled onto a rooftop and described as the essence of the seasonal. What? Okay, no. for getting wedged. Okay, so it says, but he ended up needing to be rescued by the detectives who were pursuing him after getting wedged into a chimney. All right, look. Like, have you been on a roof and looked down a chimney hole?
I have, yeah.
Not that big.
Oh, it's never looked enticing to me. I mean, I've never been fleeing the law either, but
like, I just don't, unless it's like a really old house with like a big ass chimney, but I don't know, man, those openings are not very big. And he apparently thought he was just going to slide on down like Santa and just come out the fireplace. And I'm pretty sure this happened recently. So what if they had a fire going?
Well, hopefully he would have noticed that with the smoke coming out of it. I mean, he would have been dead from suffocation.
That's
honestly, true. Lack of oxygen and the chimney flue. That would have ended that police pursuit pretty quickly, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but no, they ended up having to tear apart the chimney to get him out.
Of course they did.
Yeah. Yeah, what an idiot.
That's probably up there on my least favorite ways to die.
In a chimney?
Getting stuck in a chimney. I think that's up there.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Wood chipper's number 1, in case you're curious.
Fargo.
Yep, that's that's exactly it too. Oh God.
Yeah. We're gonna end the show on that. Wood chipper death.
Yeah, there we go. Or chimney death. Yeah, get out of there. No, my favorite stuck in a chimney scene in the movie, and not really stuck, is, did you ever watch Muppets Christmas Carol?
No.
Oh, okay. It's a good one. It's one of my favorites, not gonna lie. But there is, are you familiar with Rizzo the rat of the Muppets? No? Okay, well, he's a rat.
Okay.
But he does go down the chimney and he lands on a goose that's being cooked on a rotisserie spit. It's a very funny gag. That's my favorite down a chimney gag in all movies, in case you're ever curious.
Okay.
I'd recommend it. It's seasonally out of zone right now, but I would recommend Muppet Christmas Carol. If nothing else, to see Michael Caine, who's a great actor, play straight-faced deadpan opposite the Muppet cast. It's really good.
I love Michael Caine.
Well, you should definitely watch it. I would highly recommend watching it.
He has a really interesting accent. I don't even know what it is.
He does.
Michael Caine. I can't even do it. But
yeah, you are a stupid bastard. I can't even do it.
Yeah,
it's very unique. Although, if you ever want to,
that's for both of us.
Yourself, go listen to him mimicking people that do impersonations of him.
Oh,
it's
really?
Funny, yes, because he actually accentuates his own accent. He's a very funny guy.
Nice. Oh, I have one recommendation for another TV show real quick.
Yeah.
My wife and I just started watching Landman. Has Billy Bob Thornton. Oh God, what's her name? Ali Larder. And I think those are like the two main hitters in the show. Oh, and what's his name? I can't. John Hamm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really good show. It's on Paramount Plus, and a couple of different friends of ours recommended it. And I was reluctant at first, only because I have to be in the right mindset to start a new show.
Okay.
And finally, I'm like, all right, let's just go for it. And we watched all 10 episodes, and yeah, that's like our evening activity. Watch a couple of those, so it doesn't take long to get through it.
Okay. Oh, I thought you said you watched all 10 episodes in one night. I'm like, damn, you have a lot of free time.
No, one night.
I was really confused. You're like, oh, we watched all 10 episodes. That's what we do in the evening. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, we're up till 7 a.m.
How do you watch so many movies?
No, but it was really good though. It's based on like the oil fields in Texas, and Billy Bob plays the landman who has to deal with the leases and like all this. It doesn't sound like it would be that interesting, but it was really good. Like really good.
I'm sure. I mean, good writing, and Billy Bob Thornton's a good actor, so I'd be pretty confident.
Yeah, it's the same guy that wrote like all the Yellowstones and 1923 and stuff like that.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
Sheldon Sheridan. I don't know the guy's name, but he's really good at it. Really good writer.
Yeah, that sounds like it recommends it.
Yeah. So there you go. Another recommendation, and I think that's going to wrap us up for this one. What do you think?
Alrighty, sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in for another one. We'll see you next Monday.
All right. See ya.